I'm in northern Minnesota, heading for the banks of the St. Louis River, one of the most forgotten stretches of wilderness in the entire country. According to the National Conservation Group American Rivers, the call of the wild may be no stronger anywhere in the lower 48 than near the headwaters of the St. Louis River. That's definitely a bold claim, and I'm here to see if it's true. I'm dropping off my bike miles downstream, and if I want to make it back to the cabin by nightfall, I'll have to navigate some of the most chaotic stretches of this wild river.
So this is the river. Oh my gosh. Look how many rocks are out there in the middle of this river. I'm afraid we're gonna have to portage a lot of this. This is kind of like a little triathlon today. We're gonna be paddling this river and then getting off and having to ride my bike all the way back to the cabin. I gotta be strategic with where I drop this bike today because I'm committed to getting there no matter where I go. All right, so right here, the river looks pretty good, at least from this side, and this is the side that we'll be coming from. However, when we turn over to this side of the bridge, this is where the rocks begin. I want a little adventure today. I definitely want to go through some of those mini rapids and navigate those boulders. They may start right here. I can't really tell. It's fascinating to me how the river can go from being so wide and open like it is here to being just a mess of boulders in such a short little span of time. But again, that's what makes up the character of this place and what's gonna make it such a big adventure today.
I've decided to drop off the bike at a small little ATV trail a little bit further downstream. That way I know for sure that I'll have the opportunity to go through some of the small rapids and boulder fields.
All right, guys, this is gonna be our destination.
I've got my cabin set up at a dispersed campsite right on the river. It's a few miles upstream and the perfect place to put in for our paddle today.
All right, it's time to get out on the water. As you can see, I've got my pack raft here. This thing's great because it's super lightweight. It packs down very, very small. Now we're heading into the backcountry, so I made sure that I packed a bunch of supplies in my dry bag here. I've got my water filter. I have extra food. I've got means of starting a fire. I've got layers. I've got water protection. I've got everything that I need to stay safe while I'm out there should we get stranded somehow, which I, again, don't see happening, but it happened only a couple weeks back when I was in Montana, so you never know when it is going to happen. Oh yeah, last and certainly not least, I'm bringing my fishing pole so that we can try to do some fishing, especially out here in the wide sections of the river. All right, we are officially on the river now.
There's something extra special about this part of northern Minnesota. It's so incredibly wild, and you can feel that. In fact, some of the animals here really aren't found anywhere else in the region. Of course, there are bears out here. You've got wolves, and you even have Canada lynx. And I just think that's incredibly cool. And the river itself is exceptionally unique as it flows into 3 major drainage systems. It eventually dumps out into Lake Superior, but also flows into the Mississippi River, making its way down towards the Gulf. But I was most surprised to learn that the water flowing through the St. Louis River will also end up in Hudson Bay, way up in the Arctic region. And so with all that in mind, you can definitely see why this is characterized as one of the wildest rivers in the lower 48.
Whoa! We just bottomed out on a rock that I did not see at all. That's it, right down there.
Well, we were definitely starting to get into a mess of boulders, so I figured right now was probably a good time to try to do some fishing.
Ooh, I might have a fish. I think I do. I do. Let's let him fight. Whoa! I think it's a walleye. Wow! Now that's a nice walleye! Look at this guy! Whoa, jeez! Okay. And he's gone. I don't have the means to keep him anyways, you guys, being out on the river like this. That definitely could have been an eater, though. He was huge. At least for walleye I've caught. That was fun, man. Got one. Feels like a little guy. Ooh, maybe not. He's fighting. Whoa! Oh, he is fighting. Whoa, oh my gosh, a big pike. I think this is a big pike.
The older that I've gotten, the more I've realized that staying on top of my health needs to be a major priority. But honestly, having 2 very young children at home and traveling on a weekly basis like this, it can be easy to let things slip through the cracks. And honestly, guys, for the last month and a half, I've been dealing with this pinched nerve in my neck, which has been both painful and extremely uncomfortable. When you're busy, it can be so easy to let things like this go unaddressed because, let's face it, making doctor's appointments can be a major hassle. But that's where today's sponsor, ZocDoc, comes in clutch. ZocDoc lets you search and compare local in-network doctors, and they have more than 150,000 providers within 200 plus specialties across all 50 states. They allow you to see real appointment openings right then and there, and you can book them instantly. And ZocDoc has tons of reviews from real patients and doctor profiles so you can pick the right provider for you. And appointments happen fast. We're talking 24 to 72 hours, and sometimes you can score a same-day appointment as well. And best of all, ZocDoc is 100% free to use. I'm currently using ZocDoc to help me find a provider to take care of this pinched nerve because enough is enough. It's time to deal with it. Clicking the link below is a small step towards prioritizing your health, and it's very simple with ZocDoc. Taking care of your health just got easier. Head to ZocDoc.com/tinycabinlife to get started and check that appointment off your to-do list.
Yeah, very respectable sized pike right here. All right, let's see. Let me help you out, pal. Do not want to get bit, but I knew he was gonna do that. I do not want to get bit by you. Oh no, he got away. I did get my lure from him, which is the most important thing there, but dang it, I would have liked to pull that guy into the boat. He was big. I want to say he was probably the 2nd to 3rd largest pike I've ever caught. He was probably like, I don't know, like this big. Very good size. Well, it felt good to catch some fish back there, but we've got a ways to paddle still, and the hardest stretch is yet to come. I'm seeing a lot more boulders up ahead here, which means things are about to get interesting.
I noticed this strange barricade across the river and quickly realized that this is a beaver dam. Beavers have the ability to change streams like this into ponds and wetlands, which rapidly reshapes the river. And I think this definitely means we're about to hit some shallow water on the other side.
I'm just getting caught on rocks left and right. Gotta be careful too to not puncture my raft, you know? Man, when I saw these little rapids, I thought there would be like a route to be able to kind of run them, you know? But they're all like way too shallow. You just bottom out left and right. I do think I'm almost through this boulder field though, at least the first one. Well, that was really tough. I don't know how that back there stacks up against what we've got right at the end. Oh, jeez. But I think the end is going to be worse.
It seemed that we were entering another wide section of the river that was definitely impacted by beavers. In fact, I noticed two of them going about their business in the river ahead of me.
Well, we're approaching the bridge now, which was going to be our takeout point. But as we know now, things get interesting and not necessarily in a good way right after this.
That I had made it through the bridge, I was headed directly into the thick of the worst boulder field of the entire paddle. What previously looked to be a maze of rocks that could be avoided was in actuality just inches of water flowing above boulder after boulder. There doesn't seem to be any way to navigate the boulder field by water. And so I made the decision to portage until we reach the bridge that we drove over at the beginning of the day. Then from there, I'll have to hike the road to the small ATV trail, then take that all the way back down to the river where I can retrieve my bike.
Well, in hindsight, obviously, the first drop point was the best spot. We got a little boulder action before that, caught some fish. It would have been the perfect ending. Thankfully, this is a pack raft and it weighs next to nothing. Alright, I'm gonna leave my fishing pole, my paddle, and the raft right there. Let's go get the bike. I think for this walk in the woods, I better put on the head net. This is the time of day, especially where the mosquitoes get really bad. Put on my gloves too. I've been spending so much time in Montana these last few months that my reflex right now is to say, "Hey bear!" Now there are bears here. We have black bears, but you don't really have to do that. They will take off when they see or hear you coming, and they're far less dangerous than grizzlies. I love how it's this point right here where the river improves again. The boulder field literally ends right here. All right, let's get out of here. All right, so I think I'm gonna grab just my fishing pole so that I could do some fishing in the morning. I'm gonna leave the raft and the paddle and pick them up in my truck on the way out tomorrow. Made it. Now this is a fire. I feel comfortable doing it because we got the river right there. I've got a bucket accessible in the truck. No biggie. That paddle was just awesome too. I mean, that's honestly why I love coming out into nature. You're kind of forced to be completely in the moment. Especially when you're traveling down a river like this where you have to get to the end of it, or at least reach your destination. I think it's one of the most pure experiences of life that you can have nowadays, especially when we're so used to technology and people being able to bail us out. When you're out in places like this, you have no choice but to keep moving forward. And I love that. This propane oven here might be my favorite camping gear discovery of all time. As much as I love making meals on a grill or on a little stove or even on a fire, I always want to bake things. I want to make pizza. I want to make cookies, cinnamon rolls, nachos. And so when I saw this, I was just blown away, and I'm so excited to be using it tonight. Now, with that being said, I'm starting off by making something pretty simple. I'm just doing some pizza, but I really wanted to get a sense of how this thing works, and pizza is a good way to do that. Oh my gosh. That's terrible. Well, perhaps my excitement was a little premature with this thing. So what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to try to flip it so that we can even it out a little bit, hopefully not burn the other side. And in the future, I guess I'll have to make like smaller pizzas or smaller dishes, whatever I do in there. Oh yeah, and I do have it turned down all the way now. Oh. God. Oh, come on. Well, this first run with the oven is an absolute disaster. This pizza is completely burned. I'm still gonna eat it. Don't worry, no mistake about that. I guess the pizzas have to be really small. Keep it as far away from, you know, that heat source as possible. But I don't know. Dear God, thank you for a great day, for keeping me safe out on the water and getting me back to the cabin safe and sound. Bless this food, and keep me safe tonight. Amen. It's crunchy. But, you know, once you get through that layer of char, it's a pepperoni pizza. I'm gonna give the food 1 thumb down. I'm not giving it 2 thumbs down, just 1 thumb down. The service, aka myself, top notch, 2 thumbs up, and the scenery and ambiance. I mean, that's, if I could do 5 thumbs up, I would do that, because this is about as spectacular as it gets. Well, the mosquitoes have certainly come out. Like, they're swarming outside the window, both windows. This is what it was like the first time I took this cabin out, and I didn't have all of the weather sealing around the door, and this swarm got into the cabin. It was terrible. I ended up sleeping in the truck because there were just hundreds of mosquitoes in here. Needless to say, it's very good to know that this place is sealed up tight. I think on that note, I'm going to shut off the lights and try to get some sleep. My plan is to get up basically at sunrise and have some coffee, and then just head down to the river and do some fishing before we pack out of here. All right, I'll see you guys bright and early. Good night. Good morning, everybody. It's literally sunrise. It's very early. I'm making my cowboy coffee,
but I actually forgot my strainer, so I have to try it the way you guys have been telling me to do it, which is to add a little bit of cold water, which apparently makes the grounds drop to the bottom. We shall see. It totally worked. I didn't see any grounds come out. It's hard to see, but they are sitting right at the bottom. So you guys, you can see here, my rod snapped on the bike ride home last night. I turned and my handlebars just snapped it right in half. Such a bummer, but this is why I buy cheap rods, because this happens to me a lot. I've snapped many rods in the last few years, and it's always in weird situations like that where I'm biking or hiking or whatever. And so it's inevitable. I have a quick fix here so that maybe if I catch a fish, we'll be okay. But yeah, not ideal.
Well, I tried fishing from the shoreline there for a while, but it became clear to me that a different setup was in order. I think some sort of a live bait with a bobber would do well, but since I don't have any bait, I figured it was time to start packing up and getting out of here. Well, that's gonna do it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for coming along. This was such a fun trip. It was so awesome being out on that river, not just paddling the big wide open sections, but navigating those boulders as well. Anytime I get out into true wilderness, it's always a meaningful experience, and this one certainly was too. I wanna give a special shout out once again to our patrons for generously donating to this channel. But again, to all of you who watch, comment, subscribe, you're all the reason that I get to do this on a weekly basis and share it with you, and I'm incredibly grateful for that. But with that, it's time for me to get home and see the girls. We'll see you next week. God bless.